What is up, guys? Randomonium here. We're going to be watching AHQ versus H2K. This is from day 6 of the 2016 World Championship. We're going to be watching it at 1.5 times speed, just so the video isn't hopefully too long. But this is the most important match for Group C in my mind. This really is going to determine who gets second place. I think that EDG is going to lock up first place pretty easily. But if H2K loses this game, they're pretty much done. There's no way that they're going to get out of the group stage. So this is a must-win for H2K, and if AHQ wins, then they're in pretty much. So I'm going to be very interested to see how this game goes and what H2K brings to the table, because they are literally playing for their lives right now. So the bans are Syndra, Olaf, and Italy on AHQ's side. Um, that's kind of odd. I mean, they're banning the Olaf and the Nidalee to kind of counter Yankos, and then the Syndra to counter Ryu. And then H2K goes for the Twisted Fate, which is very weird. I know that Westor is known for his Twisted Fate, but I mean, he's not very meta right now. Tom Kench, and then Malzahar. Very interesting bands, actually. That leaves a lot up on the table. So, yeah, I don't know if I necessarily agree with a lot of these bands, but I guess that's going to leave a lot of power picks on the table, allow the teams to really flex their team comps. First pick for AHQ is Karma. So that could be a Karma for Westor, or they could flex it down to support and Albus. H2K, wow, locking in the Caitlyn Alistar. So they lock in their bot lane first pick. Forgiven's fantastic on Caitlyn, and Vander's very good on Alistar. So yeah, I definitely like that. I don't know if I'd necessarily show the support that early in the draft, though. Right now, AHQ is covering the Rek'Sai and the Sivir. They lock that in, then I would guess that it's going to be a Sivir Karma bot lane, because that bot lane is just very strong. Um, and then Rek'Sai is still a very strong jungler. Definitely is not like the queen anymore because of her recent nerfs, but still a very strong jungler. That indicates to me that since they're putting Mountain on more of a tanky jungler, and they've got the Karma is most likely to go support, that they're probably going to go for a tank top laner, like maybe a Gnar or a Poppy or something like that. All right, so they lock in the Rise and the Elise. Um, I like the Rise. I think the Rise is a very good pick because it kind of forces the Karma to definitely go support, because Rise should be able to shut down the Karma pretty easily if she goes mid lane. And then the Elise is an interesting one. I don't know. It's going to be. I feel like that's a difficult matchup. I feel like Rek'Sai's got the advantage there. And then it looks like they're going towards the. Wow, they go for Lissandra Rumble. So, okay. So they definitely have. They're very heavily as far as their magic damage. Rumble, Lissandra, Karma. The only one that really doesn't do magic damage. I mean, the Rek'Sai will do a little bit of damage, but it's really the Sivir. So that's very interesting. Very interesting. Hmm. Last pick is the Jace for Odo. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it definitely balances out their team comp, because their team comp was you've got that mid-range damage from the Ryu, you've got the long-range damage from the Jace and the Caitlyn, and then you've got the peel and the catch ability of the Alistar. Yeah, so the real focus here is going to be. I feel like H2K is much more evenly distributed in their damage. They have both magic damage threats and they have AD threats. HQ is very one-sided. If the Sivir falls behind, then they're kind of screwed. So I would expect that Mountain is going to really prioritize uh, getting the Sivir ahead, and I'm expected to see, teleport plays, roams from Westor towards bot lane. So bot lane is really the most important lane in this matchup. As far as the lane matchups are concerned, the Rumble versus Jace, that's definitely a skill matchup. The Jace can win that if he, is able to poke down the Rumble well. But the Rumble will just straight out damage the Jace with his flamethrower. And then especially once level 6 hits, when Rumble has his equalizer, um, yeah, it definitely gives him a pretty huge advantage as far as damage is dealt. The Rek'Sai versus Elise, they're both early ganking champions. I feel like the Rek'Sai scales better because he gets tankier, but the Elise can be very impactful. So it really depends on how they play it. I still think just like top lane, it's definitely a skill matchup. Lissandra versus Ryze, it's all about Lissandra controlling her space, right? If she lets the Ryze get too close, then she's kind of screwed. Um, and then in bot lane, Caitlyn is a very good lane bully, but the fact that they've got a ranged support allows them to get a lot of poke damage. However, once they hit like level 6, um, I feel like the Caitlyn Alistar lane should have a pretty good advantage. And also, they'll have a much easier time if the Elise comes bot lane because they've got the Alistar all in, they've got the Caitlyn traps, things like that. Pretty standard clears so far. My guess is that Mountain's going to donate this first blue buff over, assuming that he actually can. It looks like the Rise is putting a ton of pressure on. Yeah, you can see Rek'Sai stopped doing the blue buff and went back over to Wolves because Lissandra's not in a position to move over to blue buff yet. So she needs to push out the wave, and then she can try and go for the blue buff. Oh, interesting. Wow, that was well done by Westor. But because the Rise is pushing in mid lane so hard, it's preventing the Lissandra from getting an early blue buff. So you can see that Rek'Sai still hasn't taken his blue buff. That blue buff is still up. My guess is that he's going to come back towards blue buff now that Rise is back, and he's going to donate that blue buff over to Lissandra. Yep. Pretty huge wave stacking up here for H2K. It looks like they've stabilized pretty well now that Alistar can threaten that all in. Um, as long as they just avoid the karma poke, they should have a pretty good advantage. Given's just so good. His CS is just fantastic. So you can see that both in top lane and AD carry, AHQ has a pretty significant CS advantage. Alright, so both top laners use their teleports, so we're not going to get any type of crazy plays bot lane for at least a couple minutes. That was a very good combo. That might force a summoner spell. Yeah, Ryu stopped that teleport. Yeah, that was really close. That was actually a really good play. It was just unlucky that Mountain was right there when it happened. So now they're going to donate the blue buff over to Ryu. He should be able to push this lane pretty hard. This is pretty good for H2K. A strong early start, but this is exactly what happened in the last game. They had an advantage early, and then they kind of made it some very poor decisions that resulted in them kind of throwing the game towards the end of the game. So I'm really going to be looking at their mid to late game shot calling to see if they can actually close out this game. Wow. See, that's exactly the type of position you want to have. He actually was able to inflict quite a lot of damage onto the Rek'Sai, but he was never in danger of actually being killed. So Ryu and Yankos are really pressuring this middle portion of the map. So the advantage of pushing in your lane like the way that Ryu is doing is that you get to roam first, right? You can push in the wave. Your lane opponent has to stay there because he's got to clear the wave or he's going to fall really far behind. You can disappear into Fog of War, and he doesn't know if you're just hiding in the bush or if you're actually moving for a gank to bot lane. Teleports are almost up for both top laners. I would expect that there's going to be some aggression very soon. Riven's got a pretty commanding lead right now in bot lane. Westor is actually CSing really impressively, considering he's been getting pushed in non-stop this entire match. Yep, they're gonna make a play bot lane. No, I guess not. They're not gonna pull the trigger yet. I feel like they're being way too passive right now. H2K, they're being gun shy. I mean, they could be very easily playing around this Rise ultimate. He went all in on that. Wow. Yeah, very good disengage. That's going to give Odo a lot of time in the top lane to try and get a lot of pressure. That's going to force Ziv to waste his teleport, and now Odo teleports to bot lane, and they've got him cut off. This is exactly what I wanted to see. Though, unfortunately, they only get one kill. That actually could have resulted in a lot more pressure. Yeah, there's no reason why you would try to steal that blue buff right now. You don't have the TP advantage. So yeah, H2K has a pretty sizable advantage right now. But if AHQ makes a rotation, they can equalize by getting first turret. So actually, if I was AHQ, I would be looking to try and push out this lane. Uh, wow. Well played. Slight misplays. They could have gotten Mountain as well, but I don't think that was the right play by AHQ. If I was AHQ, I would be hard pushing this lane out in bot lane, and then I would rotate my bot lane to top lane because top tower is very, very low. And you can probably get top tower faster than H2K can. So now instead, H2K walks away with even more of an advantage, and they get also the first tower. So yeah, now that gold lead is 3,000 when it was originally only about 1,000. So now what H2K can do is their top tower is already really, really low. So it's worth trading that top tower if you can get another tower. So they can make a play where they push out their top lane, and then they make a play either in mid lane or bot lane, and even if they lose their top tower, it's still a worthwhile trade because that tower is going to fall anyway in like about 5 minutes. Odo is really pushing up very far. Next Jacob is Infernal, so I would expect both teams to very put a lot of priority on getting vision for Dragon and also getting that Dragon. So it looks like Odo's rotating to mid. Same with Ziv, so they don't want to waste their TPs. That was actually really important that Ryu knocked him down to half HP. That's going to make it a lot harder for AHQ to actually challenge this Drake. Yeah, this is bad by okay, so that's good. At least they backed off. But that was really bad. They either needed to immediately back off or they needed to have Forgiven with them. So that's definitely a miscommunication that they can't afford to have. They got lucky that they didn't get punished. Oh, flash by On. Okay. I actually like what they're doing right now, where they're having the Jace pushing mid lane. They were having Ryu push bot lane because if AHQ tries to come in, good job by Yankos. Um, then Ryu can rotate with his ultimate. This is good. Ryu's gonna be able to. Sorry, Forgiven's gonna be able to get that tower. Solo gold. Yeah, I don't know why Odo's up there. So one of the things that you need to do in order to be an effective split pusher, and this is really important for a lot of like top laners and mid laners, is you need to understand when you are weak and when you are strong on the map. So, for example, if your jungler is on the opposite side of the map, or your mid laner just recalled, you are weak on the map. You cannot bring as many people to the fight as your enemy. So therefore, you need to take a defensive position and prevent them from going offensive against you. Because if they spot your jungler on the opposite side of the map, or they spot your mid laner recalling, they're going to be looking for an aggressive play. So even though you don't necessarily know where your opponents are, you know where your teammates are, and you need to change how you're playing based on where your teammates are on the map. I hope that makes sense. H2K is able to pick up another tower. They're now up 3-1 as far as towers are concerned, and they're up about 4,000 gold. And that just kind of shows you how important towers are, right? Kills are even, but 2 towers and they're up 4,000 gold. And some of that is the CS advantage, but towers are just so important. Way more important than kills. So now they're rotating the Rise to a side lane, which I actually really like because no one can 1v1 the Rise right now. He is just an absolute monster. So if I were H2K, I would be putting Rise in the side lane, I'd be putting Jace in a side lane, and I'd be setting up those trap lines in mid lane. The only thing I'd be worried about is, a Sivir Karma rush down mid lane. So I'd be playing pretty safe in mid lane, and I'd be waiting for my side lanes to push up before I start being more aggressive with mid lane. So all teleports are up. Drake is up in a minute, but it's a Cloud Drake. So I don't think there's going to be that much fighting over it. Yeah, so this is becoming the standard Baron game that we've been seeing pretty much every single game, where you just sweep out the vision, you deny the vision, and if you don't have enough sweepers, you just wait. You just make sure you control the river, make sure that the enemy team can't come into river, and then you just wait for the wards to die out, and then you force the enemy team to face check into you. So as far as how H2K is in the driver's seat, so they will win this game as long as they just keep doing what they're doing. The way that they can lose this game is if they try to chase or they try to funnel in through a choke point and they get caught in a equalizer and a Lissandra W and ultimate, that kind of stuff. So they really can't. Choke points are H2K's nemesis right now. So they want to be fighting in big, wide open spaces where they can not get funneled in by that equalizer, by the CC of the Lissandra, things like that. So we're right there, that's a very dangerous position to be in for H2K. Yeah, so this is pretty bad. Um, he should be able to clean this up. Well done. See, that's exactly what I wanted to see with the Rise ultimate. Wow, that was really impressive by Mountain. He really, oh, I don't know if I like this. Because if Mountain has ultimate, he can come straight out on the map and he can possibly smite steal. Jesus! God damn it! This is why you don't go for a fucking Baron when you don't have the jungler. They could have gotten mid tower off of that. They could have gotten at least one tower, possibly two. That is, this is like the mistakes that H2K made last time these two teams played. Like they're going for. There's no need for go for such high risks. You're in freaking the World Championships. You're fighting for your life. You want to be going for high percentage plays, not high risk plays. That's so heartbreaking. Like my heart hurts for fucking H2K right now. Oh my god. How do you do that? They've got the gold advantage still, but they can't do that again. If they make another mistake like that again, then they're probably going to throw the game. You usually get like one mistake like that a game, and you won't like immediately lose, but it like really hurts you. If you make more than one of those types of mistakes, you're basically just handing the enemy team the game. Yeah, look at that. Their gold lead got cut by in half just by that one mistake. This is really dangerous trying to check into this. Yep, and they're right in the choke point. Well played. Good job. They nearly lost that fight because they funneled into a choke point like I was talking about earlier. But they were able to kite back. They did a very good job with the Rise ultimate. Um, and they're able to get a pretty sizable lead off of that. Like H2K should win this game. They're way far ahead. They've got so much power on the Rise right now. Nobody can stop him. The only way that H2K loses this is if they throw it. See, when they step in like this, that's really bad. They funnel right into that. They back out. Thankfully, it's a freaking Alistar. If it was any other support, that support would be dead right now. Yeah, like this entire time, if they just turn onto Odo, he's dead. But nobody, like the communication on AHQ was just very poor, and they started trying to go for the Elise to try going for the Alistar rather than one of the squishy people like Odoamne or Forgiven or things like that. So Odo actually was doing something really clever. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he actually wasn't fast pushing the wave. He waited for the wave to stack up, and then he cleared the wave. So then a much larger wave was going to crash into the tower, um, which is actually a really, really high level tactic that most people don't use. Stacking up minion waves so that it becomes that much harder to clear them, and you can actually get some tower damage. This is good. I don't know what On is doing on the bottom side of the map right now. There we go. No more Baron steals for Albus. Whoa. This is still really risky. You don't have Forgiven with you. You get the flash off the Ziv. I want to see how yeah, that's just a misplay from Forgiven. That should be Baron right there. That mistake from Mountain should be Baron. They can't check into it. They've got the mid inhib down. They should be able to get Baron off of this. Alright, so you got Baron, you got mid inhib down. You run either a 4-1 or a 1-3-1. You push out mid lane, you rotate to a side lane, you take those side lane towers. Elder Drake's up in 50. I don't see them being able to pull off and get it. You definitely want to get the towers down first. So you keep pushing up mid. Good. You push up mid, rotate to bot, push in bot, rotate to mid, push in mid, rotate to top. Actually, they're kind of letting top go. Top's pushing against them, so they won't be able to get any towers in top lane. But they can bounce between top and mid, or mid and bot rather. Sorry. So it looks like West Store was going for a TP flank. They spotted it and they back off. Actually, it kind of could have been pretty cool if they kind of baited that, like, oh, we don't know this guy's teleporting, and then they turn right as the teleport completes to kill him. Wow, he didn't even get to use his ultimate. He died with his ultimate. Still up. That should be the game. Yeah. There's no way they can stop this. Well played. Well played by H2K. Definitely a couple sloppy mistakes, but they just got so far ahead in the early game that even if they made mistakes, AHQ couldn't do anything. So that was a must-win for H2K. That ties them 1-1 in the series against AHQ, and it's really going to come down to those last two matches between the INTZ and EDG. So if either one of those teams, AHQ or H2K, lose to INTZ, that might be the deciding factor that determines who gets second place and who gets third place. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you like the content on the channel, please subscribe. If you got any videos you want me to watch, I'll be happy to comment on them and give you guys any help that I can hopefully provide. I hope you all have a great day. This is Randomonium signing off.